This is a regular meeting of the City Council for the City of Southfield for March the 21st, 2016. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Thank you. Ms. Morris?
Present.
Mr. Mandelbaum?
Here.
Seymour?
Present.
Mr. Cruz?
Present.
Mr. Brightwell?
Here.
Mr. Fracassi? Here. Mr. Frazier?
Here.
You have 7 members present.
Thank you. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start the meeting, I would like to ask everyone to turn off or at least turn your communication devices to vibrate so that it doesn't disturb the meeting. Also, I would like to make another announcement that this evening I'm going to introduce something that's new, and that is, if you look at the lectern, you can see a clock that's probably set at three minutes. When you, and I'm talking about citizens that come to the lectern to talk about public hearings, you'll have 3 minutes. The clock will start when you walk to the lectern, and when the 3 minutes are exhausted or when it gets down to 0, the microphone will be shut off. The reason I'm doing this is over the period of time, there have been some complaints about you gave this person 2 seconds more than you gave me, or we're not, you're playing favorites. I am not controlling this clock. I have no control over this clock. So I want to make sure that everyone gets an equal time, because my belief is, and what I'm trying to practice throughout my time here at this podium, is that I want to be fair. I want to build bridges between us and the community. Some of the bridges had been fractured over the years, and I want to rebuild those. So I want to be as fair as I can. That's why I say when you walk to the lectern, the time will start. So everyone starts at the same time, everyone stops at the same time. So that will be for responding to public hearings and in the communication portion of the meeting. So with that, we'll start our agenda. We have a number of presentations, quite a number of presentations this evening, and I will start with the first 2, and I will come down to the lectern, and I get more than 3 minutes. The first person I would like to join me at the lectern is my friend, Mr. Sam Havis. How are you this evening?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Mr. Havis has spent a number of years, 30 in fact, on the Southfield Building Authority as a commissioner. Mr. Havis has, due to health reasons, has been unable to attend the Building Authority meetings, and though he has not been able to attend the meetings over the years, he has helped the Southfield Building Authority through some very difficult times. They've built buildings, and his expertise has been extremely important in helping to make the decisions that built some pretty fine buildings in the city of Southfield. I would like to honor the amount of work and volunteering that he has done for the city of Southfield by presenting you with a plaque that says Samuel P. Havis, in great appreciation for 30 years of dedicated service, City of Southfield Southfield Building Authority, 1985 to 2015. And congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll hand it to you. And my second honor is to recognize another person that has given a number of years for the city of Southfield, and that's David Koski. If you would join me at the lectern. Oh, here you are. How are you tonight?
Very good, thank you.
Good. Another person that has stepped out and volunteered to make the city a better place. And this is to acknowledge Mr. Koski's for the Southfield Board of Review. Mr. Koski has served on the Southfield Board of Review for 19 years. First as a board member, then as a board chairman. Mr. Koski has moved out of the city due to his job relocation and has resigned from the Southfield Board of Review. And so we would like to present you with a token of our appreciation for the work that you have done for the city of Southfield by presenting you with a plaque that says, presented to David Koski for 19 years of dedicated service, City of Southfield, Board of Review, 1997, 2016.
Thank you very much.
Okay? Okay. You have that, that must have been on your.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your, here's a box. That,
Thank you, sir.
okay?
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you very much.
The next series of presentations will be made by the mayor. If you'd like to step to the lectern.
Actually, Mr. Fraser, I'm not doing the next one. I think I'm being given something from the concrete people.
Yes, you are.
So wherever they are, they'll come forward. Good evening. How are you?
Mayor.
The floor is yours.
Good evening, council members. My name is Carrie Sutton with the Michigan Concrete Association. Each year, the Michigan Concrete Association recognizes projects that were completed during the previous construction year that had outstanding characteristics of design, innovation, quality of construction. And I'm pleased to announce that a project here in the city has received an award for the 2014-2015 construction project on Evergreen Road. The award was received in the category of Special Innovative Projects, I think because of just the whole uniqueness of this very amazing project that was completed right out here in front of the municipal complex. For its use in concrete design construction of the road pavement, the multiple modern roundabouts, as well as all the decorative work that was completed. So this amazing project has totally transformed the traffic flow and safety, pedestrian accessibility, and the aesthetics of this major corridor in the city of Southfield. So I would like to congratulate you, as well as the team members that also were recognized at our awards program. The paving contractor, Florence Cement Company, the decorative concrete contractor GM & Sons, engineer Hubble Roth & Clark for the city, the concrete suppliers Florence Cement and Superior Materials, and the testing company Intera, as well as the city of Southfield, of course. So we had a award plaque that we would like to give to you, a word of excellence in recognition of the Evergreen Road project. Congratulations.
Before you sit down, I would like Lee Schultz to come up, our city engineer. We had to have someone out there riding herd on the contractors, and I remember at the dedication ceremony, come on over here, Lee, you're not going to escape. At the dedication ceremony in October, you got the Thumbs Up Award for a job well done. And I don't know that everybody in the audience or out watching this meeting knows that, but a lot of it, of course, fell on your shoulders to make sure that it happened, and we got what we asked for. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. John Adams has a,
Yes, I was going to introduce John Adams.
If you would.
Or you may.
no? Please do.
Mr. John Adams from the Southfield Parks and Garden Club has asked to make a presentation. We're gearing up for another season of beautification in our city, as well as growing food for Forgotten Harvest. John?
Thank you. Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Jonathan Adams. I live at 25620 Mulberry in the great neighborhood of Farmbrook, which includes Mulberry and Stonycroft. No, not Stonycroft. They're next door to us, but Strawberry Lane. I am founder and president of the Southfield Parks and Garden Club. I'm founder and director of the Emmanuel Community Farm. I've been in front of this august body for a number of times, but there's new faces, and I'd like you to become as familiar with us as I can become with you. The club has many projects, I think probably the largest of which is the Emmanuel Community Farm. And the farm had volunteers last year from every race, color, and creed who put in over 800 hours worth of work last year. Now, my wife said something to me about saying something about race, color, and creed. I want to say that we enjoy everybody who comes and volunteers, and everybody adds a little bit of their own selves to their work, and we all get along just fine out there. So I don't see any problem in saying it. The half-acre garden raises fruits and vegetables as organically and sustainably as possible. We have given over 20,000 pounds of fresh produce to Forgotten Harvest to help feed the hungry in southeast Michigan. We are open every Sunday 1 to 4, Wednesdays from 3 to 6, and we're starting on April 3rd. As the mayor mentioned, we do have quite a bit to do with community pride with the club. We co-sponsor and help judge the city's Community Pride Awards. We present the annual Southfield Garden Walk to showcase outstanding gardens and fine housing stock in the city. Our 10th walk this year on June 26th from 2 to 5 will cover Stonycroft and Farmbrook subdivisions and features shuttle service. We will start at the Berg Historical Park and have representatives from the Southfield Historical Society, Southfield Parks and Rec Department, and the Oakland County Master Gardeners. Tickets are $10 and are available at the welcome table. In the parks, we helped plant 1,000 trees at Evergreen Hills Golf Course. Now, this was about 10 years ago for the 40th Super Bowl, but we did help with that project. That's the kind of thing that we do when we're asked. We helped clear and put down wood chips on over a mile of trails in Evergreen Woods. We've mapped trails at Bowervik and Evergreen Woods. This year will be docents for city park bus tours so that our residents can come take a look at what kind of parks that we offer. and we'll be putting up interpretive signage at Evergreen Woods. Under the heading of litter, I really get upset when I see all the litter by the side of our roads, and I think many of us do. One of the things the club does is put together organized groups to go out and pick up litter. And we're very happy to hear if somebody sees a whole lot of litter someplace that needs some attention, we'll absolutely try to get out there and take care of it. We do garden education. At meetings, we can talk about plants from azaleas to zelkovas and things like moles, deer repellent, and pruning shears. We'll be starting a native plant demonstration garden somewhere this year. Membership dues for the club are $30 per year. Our meetings, are the first Tuesday of every month, starting April 5th through October. We meet in room 112 for the Parks and Recreation Department. We are a charity. We've got no paid staff, no costly space, no meals, travel, or entertainment expense, no paid fundraisers, and no private jets. We rely entirely on public donations. Our websites are, for the club, it's www.southfieldparksandgarden.org, and for the farm, it's www.emmanuelcommunityfarm.org. Of course, you can Google something close to either one of those things and generally get to us. You can call me, and I wish you would if you want to help or have suggestions, at 248-356-2281. Thank you.
Thank you. And good luck. Hope the weather is good for you this year.
Yes, it was great last year.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Ken.
I'd also add that the Parks and Garden Club is looking for more volunteers, and they can contact John Adams at Southfield Parks and Garden. Moving on to, we have a proclamation, and I'd like to ask our Emergency Preparedness Director, Bill Johns, to come forward. We have a proclamation regarding Severe Weather Awareness Week. Good evening, sir. Those of you who don't know Mr. Johns, he's had a long-time career with the city, first in the fire department, and is now our Emergency Preparedness Director, and plays a very vital role in keeping everyone in Southfield safe. The Severe Weather Awareness Week is April 10th to 16th. Whereas spring and summer frequently bring fast-changing weather conditions and increase the potential for severe weather, including flooding, thunderstorms, and tornadoes, and whereas during the 2015 severe weather season, southeast lower Michigan experienced 10 tornadoes, the average is 6, and 79 storm-based warnings, and whereas Severe Weather Awareness Week promotes public education and instruction on preparations for minimizing the loss of life and destruction of property that can result from severe weather. And whereas businesses, schools, families are encouraged to participate in tornado drills and preparedness activities before severe weather strikes to be better prepared when an emergency or disaster happens. And whereas on Wednesday, April 13th at 1 p.m., and we wanted to stress this again, this is on April 13th, that's Wednesday at 1 p.m., the Oakland County Homeland Security Division will conduct a special test of the outdoor warning system to promote severe weather safety preparations. So therefore be it resolved that I, Kenson Cyber, Mayor of the City of Southfield, County of Oakland, State of Michigan, do hereby proclaim April 10th to 16th Severe Weather Awareness Week in the City of Southfield, and urge all residents to educate themselves on severe weather warnings and take important precautions to protect themselves and their families. Thank you, sir. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Council President, Council, Mayor Cyber, members of the community. Here in the City of Southfield, we take a whole community approach to emergency preparedness. So I'm very excited to announce that this year the City of Southfield has partnered with the National Weather Service to bring the Young Meteorologist program to the City of Southfield. This program has been hosted all around the country, but this will be the first time that it's being hosted in the state of Michigan. So Southfield was selected. It'll be on May 16th at the Southfield Library. It's open to the general public from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. I encourage everybody to go to the website, which is youngmeteorologist.org/Southfield. And if you're not going to attend the event, I still would recommend that everybody goes to that website. It's a wealth of information out there about emergency preparedness, as well as children can play the game, and once they're done with the game, they'll get a young meteorologist certificate. The whole purpose of this rally is to teach kids from 3rd grade to the 8th grade the science of meteorology, as well as severe weather awareness. And one more event we're having free of charge to the residents on March 30th is our Skywarn training. So we teach our community with the National Weather Service how to spot tornadoes and severe weather. That's going to be March 30th at 7 o'clock to 8:30 at the Southfield Library. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks.
Moving right along, next we have a joint resolution from the mayor and council regarding Autism Awareness Month, and that's in April. And I'd like to ask Andrea Gruber, if she's in the audience, as well as there's some staff members here, I believe, from the Special Education Department of Southfield Public Schools. If you would come forward. Good evening, Andrea. Hello, come on up. I can attest that as a school administrator, the number of autistic children that we were educating in Southfield Public Schools continued to rise despite the fact that the district was going through declining enrollment. So this evening, we would like to bring awareness to autism and join the national effort to make people more aware of autism or autism spectrum disorder, otherwise known as ASD. And whereas autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disability that is associated with intellectual disability, difficulties in motor coordination, and attention and physical health issues. And every child with ASD has different skills and challenges. And whereas ASD is one of the fastest growing developmental disorders in the United States, with 1 in 68 U.S. children diagnosed with ASD each year, a 30% increase from 1 in 88 2 years ago. And according to a report by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and whereas ASD affects children of all racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups, and whereas children with ASD with the help of their families, providers, educators, doctors, specialists, and communities, can learn and thrive in the classroom and lead successful lives. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and the city of Southfield and the city council call upon our citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to commit to increasing awareness and understanding of autism spectrum disorder. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the mayor and council of the city of Southfield, county of Oakland, state of Michigan, do hereby declare or resolve April 2016 as Autism Awareness Month in the city of Southfield. I want to present this to Mrs. Gruber. And also, this month, part of this campaign is something we call Light It Up Blue. And we're encouraging people to light their porches or their businesses with blue lights during the month of April. The schools, the same. If you can get some blue gels out, I know the front of our city hall that's lit at night will be blue during the month of April. I thank you all for coming here, and if you want to introduce yourselves, come on over. Geraldine, we'll start with you.
Good evening. I'm Geraldine Janesco, and I'm a district consultant with our special ed program here in Southfield. And as Mayor Seibert said, we do service 117 students right now in our school system, from preschool up to adult transition services.
Hi, I'm Hope Bacher. I teach at McIntyre Elementary, a resource room for children with autism.
Good evening. My name is Zelda Solomons, and I am the transition coordinator for Southfield Public Schools, and I service the high schools.
Good evening. My name is Robin Porter, and I'm a social worker, and I work with the high school kids at the autistic high school kids at Southfield Lathrop.
Good evening. My name is Margot Williams, and I work with the post-secondary Next Step program at Levy Middle School site.
Thank you so much for being here. And my final presentation goes out to the Care House of Oakland County. Is someone here from Care House? We have another joint resolution, and this is on Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. Whereas abuse and neglect are suffered by children in our communities regardless of age, race, gender, or economic situation, and whereas 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before the age of 18, and whereas this reported maltreatment is only a portion of the overall problem threatening our children, for so many cases go unreported, and today's technology has brought with it a new and dangerous form of child endangerment, of the online predator, and whereas the devastating consequences of physical and emotional abuse of our children affects the community as a whole, and finding solution needs to be attended to by the community as a whole. Whereas the state of Michigan has mandatory reporting by professionals working with children of any specified abuse and neglect incidents is a major step, but more is needed in the community. And whereas Care House of Oakland County works to break the cycle of child abuse and neglect, provides a protective circle of light and hope for a better life, and advocates for the safety and protection of children, whereas Care House of Oakland County partners with the community organizations and agencies to offer programs and services aimed at preventing child abuse and neglect, knowing that effective programs succeed because of the involvement of partnerships created among schools, social service agencies, religious and civic organizations, the business community, and law enforcement. So now therefore be it resolved that we as the mayor and city council of the city of Southfield, County of Oakland, state of Michigan, do hereby resolve that children deserve to grow and thrive in an environment that nurtures and keeps them safe. And again, no one from Care House is here, so I will make sure that they, sorry? Okay, I'll make sure that they get this.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We have one more resolution, and that is, I'm going to call on Mr. Cruz, who is our chair of our legislative committee.
Mr. President, as you stated, I'm here on behalf of the Council Subcommittee on Legislative and Urban Affairs, which consists of myself, Councilwoman Morris, and Councilman Brightwell, to ask Council today to adopt a resolution that has been titled The Responsible Spending of Transportation Funds in Southeast Michigan. So I'll read this for you. It states, whereas communities across the Southeast Michigan face an acute shortage of transportation funds to repair existing streets and bridges, address safety needs, and provide the quality of life that attracts and retains residents and employers. And whereas within the city of Southfield, these needs specifically include the repair of existing roads. And whereas the Michigan Department of Transportation has approved and intends to commence major highway reconstruction and capacity expansions projects on I-75 in Oakland County and I-94 in Detroit, with expected costs that may exceed $4 billion, including hundreds of millions for capacity and expansion. And whereas the 2040 long-range plan states that traffic congestion in Southeast Michigan is limited, that the region will not regain its 2,000 population within the next 25 years, and that may increase in traffic levels will be modest. And whereas surveys performed by SIMCOG show that a majority of the region's residents do not support raising taxes for the purpose of expanding highway capacity. And whereas the expansion threatens significant negative impacts to the communities that they traverse, including displacement of residents, destruction of the local tax base, loss of property value, increases in traffic noise, aggravated air pollution, and continued disinvestment. Whereas it has been well established that such road expansions provide only temporary relief while exacerbating traffic congestion in the long run. And whereas $4 billion would be far better spent addressing our region's desperate need for a comprehensive regional transit system to meet the needs of residents. And whereas cities across the state are suffering consequences of decades of anti-urban policies such as freeway expansion, which encourage sprawl while decreasing investment in the very population centers where the majority of the residents live. And whereas the state law dictates that not only must cities and villages suffer the consequences of these policies, but in fact must bear a portion of the cost of opening, widening, and improving state trunk line highways, resulting in further deterioration of existing local infrastructure. So now be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Southfield oppose the inclusion of these highway capacity expansion projects in the 2040 long-range plan. And it be further resolved, the City Council especially opposes the proposed transportation improvement plan, amendments pertaining to the acceleration and widening of I-75 between 8 Mile and M59. And be it further resolved, the City Council and City of Southfield request that funding be programmed for these capacity projects be redirected to other road projects such as performing preventative maintenance and rehabilitation, existing major roads, bridges, and local streets, addressing the critical safety needs, developing and implementing mass transit, and enhancing the overall quality of life through these measures. And be it further resolved that the City of Southfield will utilize all legal means at its disposal to prevent this expansion from taking place. And be it further resolved, this resolution be transmitted to SIMCOG, its member communities, the Michigan Municipal League, the Michigan Department of Transportation, Governor Rick Snyder, and State Representative Jeremy Moss and Vincent Gregory. And be it finally resolved, the City of Southfield hereby adopts this resolution requesting that the 2 expansion projects be excluded from the 2040 long-range plan, and again, funding be redirected towards other needs until such time their utility is re-examined and in light of current transportation and funding conditions. And this resolution that we're presenting today is not just Southfield, but a number of other surrounding communities who have also already passed similar resolutions against the spending of these dollars and maybe looking at some reevaluation of how it's being spent. So with that said,
I would entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Brightwell, supported by Ms. Seymour, that we adopt the resolution to be against the expansion of the I-75 Oakland County project and I-94 in Detroit. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Fracassi.
I serve on the SIMCOG Task Force on Highways. This particular project was approved some time ago by SIMCOG. They are a regional planning agency. At that particular time, I don't recall any objections to this project. Matter of fact, I think maybe some of those who have voiced themselves opposing it voted for it when it was before SIMCOG. I'm not know that for sure, but it is a done deal, and the monies that are for this project are only to be spent on this project only. I do believe that all our roads need federal dollars, state dollars, county dollars. However, that my request or my thoughts don't go with this particular project. This project is a done deal. It's going through supposedly, I heard that at lunchtime today at the mayor's State of the City, and it was told to me by a county official that these have already been approved. So I think we should spend our time passing resolutions that we should kind of ask the federal government and state and county to prepare more money and send it to local units of government so we can take care of the potholes and some of our highways and even do some kinds of projects that we can make sure that there's training and capabilities to see why our highways do not hold up and set money doing some research on them so that we get more time out of our highways in 2 and 3 years. So I just want to bring that to council's attention that this is a resolution that is fait accompli, and although I agree with it, I'd say there's nothing we can do about it at this particular time.
It may ultimately be true, but we still can take some measures to at least have our voice heard, have it on the record. So, and that's why, and we did discuss that. We understand that that may be the case, but we thought it was still prudent of us to at least let people know where Southfield was, and hopefully with continual communities coming together with similar type resolutions, the voice gets louder, and you just never know.
Well, they should come together when the action is before SIMCOG. If they attend some of the SIMCOG meetings and voice their objections, and a lot of them don't show up at the meetings, and that's when these decisions are made on a regional basis, just like, the M1 transit. Most of the people in the surrounding suburban area didn't show up for the vote.
Okay. I do have a motion and a support. Are you prepared to vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I abstain.
Okay. Let the record show that there were 6 yeas and 1 abstention. Thank you, sir. Moving to the next item on our agenda, we have one appointment, and I will turn the microphone over to Mr. Mandelbaum, who is the chairperson of our boards and commissions.
Thank you. We have one appointment this evening for the Veterans Commission. Is Tim Workus here?
Yeah, he's sitting right
there he
there.
is. Perfect. Mr. Workus was a Air Force veteran and an original member of the Southfield Veterans Commission. He's also currently a Southfield CERT volunteer. He serves on the executive board of the Oakland Veterans Action Team and has been a member of the Airport Troop Lounge staff, and he will be filling the unexpired term of Mr. Daniel Brightwell, which the term expires December 13th, 2017.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we support this appointment.
Support.
It's been moved by Mr. Brightwell, supported by Mr. Cruz, that we approve the appointment of Timothy Workus to the Southfield Veterans Commission. Are we prepared to vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried. Madam Clerk, would you swear Mr. Workus in? Would you have anything to say, Mr. Workus? Well, wait till we swear you in first. Or maybe not.
I swear or affirm that you will support the state and the Southfield City Charter, and that you will faithfully perform the duties on the Veterans Commission in and for the city of Southfield, County of Oakland, State of Michigan, according to the best of your ability.
I do.
And when you sign the book, after you sign the book, if you have anything that you'd like to say.
Southfield Veterans Commission, which I was original member of, along with Mr. Brightwell. We do a lot of good things here in the city. We do have a Veterans Benefits Seminar coming up in April with the VA, Oakland County Veterans Services, State of Michigan Military and Veterans Affairs Agency. We're also, the Veterans Commission is now working much closer with the Oakland County Veterans Community Action Team, which that team right now has put together over 400 NGOs in Oakland County, everything from the Red Cross to Goodwill Industries, to provide services to veterans, be it employment, housing, benefits, so that when a veteran has a problem, we now have over 400 agencies that can help that veteran get that problem resolved. So we're working very hard.
Good, thank you. And if you would come this way, we'd all like to shake your hand.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So glad you told me.
The next item on our agenda, we have 2 sets of minutes that need to be approved. I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes of the Committee of a Whole meeting of February 8th and the special meeting of February 22nd.
Do I have a second?
Support.
It's been moved by Mr. Mandelbaum, supported by Ms. Morris, that we approve the Committee of the Whole meeting of February the 8th and a special meeting of February the 22nd. Is there any discussion? Are we prepared to vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried. We have a number of items on our consent agenda this evening, and I will go through them hopefully quickly. Item A, a liquor license request for the Executive Hospitality Solutions LLC, doing business as Town Square Food and Spirits. Attorney Joseph A. Shalal of Makani, Oro, and a bunch of other people will be representing the applicant. The owner of the restaurant, Lucia Gajong, and I apologize for not pronouncing the name right, and the manager, Victor Projez, will be present to answer any questions that you may have. If you would come to the microphone, please. If you state your name and business address for the record.
My name is Joseph Shalal. I'm the attorney for the applicant. My business address is 255 South Old Woodward, Suite 310, Birmingham, Michigan, 48009.
My name is Luca Jonai.
My name is Victor Kurtzai, and the address of the business is a town fair, Southfield 48076.
Okay, could you tell us more about the liquor license?
Well, we're bringing a license to that former location that was Morton's Steakhouse and Gastronomy. These gentlemen have a combined restaurant experience of over 50 years. They'll be serving American fare at the restaurant. They'll have a very reasonable price point, emphasizing business lunches and catering to local businesses, and we'd hope that you approve this license transfer.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions?
Mr. Frey,
Yes.
hours of operation?
Will be from 11 to 8,
11 to 8, 7 days a week, or
5 days a week, Monday to Friday.
Monday through Friday?
We will be open on Saturday, Sunday, only upon a request for the private parties.
Okay. All right, thank you. You can have a seat. The next item on our consent agenda is approval to purchase e-books and downloads, audiobooks from, for the Southfield Public Library from Overdrive Incorporated of Cleveland, Ohio. The total cost of these materials shall not exceed $15,000 annually. Funds are provided for these purchases in a proposed 2016-2017 budget. Books and tapes in the amount of $15,000 will be provided in the 2017 and 18 library budget as council may approve. Item C is the receipt of bids for ammunition for the police department, and this ammunition will be used for the police department training and operations. Vance Outdoors Incorporated from Columbus, Ohio was the low bidder, and the council, they are asking the council to approve the purchase of Hornady 2.223 rifle ammunition from the Vance Outdoors Incorporated, the amount of $23,100, and they do have the funds to cover this. Item D is approval for library to replace 2 Dell PowerEdge servers and associated switches. We talked about this in our earlier meeting, and the city council, they're asking the city council approve the replacement of the 2 Dell PowerEdge servers for a total cost of, with consulting, of no more than $8,000 and a purchase price of $23,598.64 for the equipment, for a total of $31,400. And they do have money in their budget for that. So with those 5, I will entertain a motion to approve the.
Mr. President, I move that we approve consent agenda items A, B, C, and D.
And it has been moved by Mr. Cruz, supported by Mrs. Morris, that we approve items A, B, C, and D. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We have to schedule a public hearing for the single lot special assessment roll. They're recommending that we approve the hearing for the regular meeting of April the 25th, 2016, for the purpose of confirming the single lot special assessment roll in accordance with Chapter 1, Section 1.13 of the city's Code of Ordinances. Item F is the Southfield Police Department Emergency Vehicle Operation Training, and they're recommending that we approve the council to authorize all sworn officers of the Southfield Police Department to attend emergency vehicle operation training, with funding for this training in the amount of $117,000 being provided from the 2015-16 police education and training budget. Item G is a request to schedule a public hearing for adoption of the 2016-2017 Community Development Block Grant, which is CDBG, the annual action plan and 5-year consolidated plan. The 2015-16 final CDBG grant was $424,081. The 2016-17, which we're acting on this evening, is $451,118, a modest improvement over the 2015 and 16. And agenda item H is receipt of bids for the Section 15 Kingsley Estates subdivision area water main and pavement improvements. They're asking us to approve the bid review and contractor pre-qualifications for the Section 15 Kingsley Estates subdivision area water main and pavement improvement project to VIL Construction Incorporated of Sterling Heights, Michigan, in a total amount of $3,879,767.25. Consent agenda I, receipt of the bids on the Northland Drive reconstruction northbound Northwestern Highway to Greenfield Roads. The proposed project will reconstruct Northland Drive from northbound Northwestern Highway to Greenfield Road to a 3-lane concrete road from the existing 4-lane boulevard, as was the consensus of the council at the January 19th, 2016 Committee of the Whole meeting. Based on a bid review and a contractor pre-qualifications, the Northland Drive reconstruction will go to Florence Cement Company of Shelby Township, Michigan, in the amount of $1,817,100.64. And J, which is our final consent agenda item, is the fence installation at the former Northland Mall site, and funds for the fence installation are available in a Northland expenditures account. They're recommending that we act on this and for the mayor and the city clerk to sign a contract with the Michigan Fence Outlot of Harrison Township, Michigan, in a base amount of $115,458.83 for fence installation at the former Northland Mall site as prescribed in the bid document dated February 28, 2016. Further, it is recommended council authorize additional fencing if necessary at the unit price provided within their bid for the future acquired properties at the site. I will entertain a motion from E through J.
Mr. President, I move that we support consent agenda items E through J.
Support.
It is moved by Mr. Cruz, supported by Mr. Mandelbaum, that we approve consent agenda items E through J. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Mandelbaum.
I had some questions on some of the bid receipts that we have in our packet. Some of the bid amounts have a asterisk indicating that there was a math error that was corrected. What type of math error was done in the bid?
Maybe
One of our
Ms. Schultz,
engineers-
would you?
Good evening. So as these items are bid, it's unit prices. So there's a quantity and a unit price the contractor fills in, and then they do the math to get the total for that line item. And sometimes they don't do their math correctly. This is all filled in by hand, and we go through each bid item and check that all the math was done correctly so that we know we have the true contract bid amount. So I don't know specifically which bid items were corrected. It's not unusual for us in a bid opening to have a couple corrections here and there.
And we still trust their capabilities if they can't do math?
Sure.
Yeah, the front office doesn't lace them in.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're on the hook.
But Lee, what is
You may, Ms. Morse, you had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know in terms of the authorizing additional fencing and what are some of the circumstances that why we may authorize additional fencing for the project site?
When we buy Target. It will take more fencing to go around the Target store.
Okay, all right, okay.
And we're in the process of negotiating the price on that right now. Mr. Brightwell?
With these math errors, what's the extent of the math error? Is it significant, or is it small, or did it affect the bid?
It's typically small, and because there can be upwards of 40 to 50 separate bid items for one of these contracts. So any one bid item is typically not going to throw off the entire bid. The contracts or the bid prices as read, I don't believe any of the orders were changed of who was first, second, third, fourth, even with those corrections.
Right, that's what I was getting at. Whether or not it meant one went to four, or four went to one, or something of that nature.
Happened before where it has changed that. That's why when we read those totals, when the purchaser reads those at the bid opening, it's always those totals as read, and then once it's confirmed, we publish the bid tab as it's been reviewed and confirmed.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Are we prepared to vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried. We do have two public hearings.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
And Mayor Seibert. The first item on your agenda this evening is GP 1289. You will note that there's also a site plan that does accompany the GP. Just so for ease of presentation, I will be presenting both at the same time this evening. So again, your first item, GP 1289 SP 1334. This is a special use and site plan review request of Nicholas Shango, 28777 Northwestern Highway, to demolish a portion of the existing Highland office building and construct a new standalone Dunkin' Donuts with drive-through. Mr. Shango's current Dunkin' Donuts location is on the property adjacent to the Highland building. However, there is no room for a drive-through on that property, thus the reason he is coming before council this evening. Existing tenants of the office building will remain in the portion to remain on site. The new building will be a mix of stone, ephes, and glass, and the existing building and the garage on the property will be refurbished to match the Dunkin' Donuts, except for the orange awnings. That will just be on the Dunkin' Donuts itself. New landscaping will be installed, including new landscaping along Franklin Road and Northwestern Highway. Paving will be redone on the site, and the existing gates that are on the south side adjacent to Franklin Road will be removed from the property. Basically, what Mr. Shango is doing is he's taking an old, tired site, and he is refurbishing that to make it look new. At this time, I do have a short video presentation for you. GP 1289, SP 1334 is a special use and site plan review request of the owner, Nicholas Shango, 28777 Northwestern LLC, to demolish a portion of the existing office building and construct a new 2,594 gross square foot Dunkin' Donuts with drive-through located at 28777 Northwestern Highway in Section 18 of the city. Subject property, as well as the properties to the north across Northwestern Highway and west, are zoned B3 General Business. Properties to the south across Franklin Road are zoned RT, Attached Single Family, R1, Single Family Residential, and RMM, Multiple Family Medium Rise. Properties to the east are zoned B3 General Business and B1 Neighborhood Business. With regard to the existing land uses, current property is developed with an office building. Properties to the north across Northwestern Highway are developed with a Burger King restaurant and a small commercial use. Property to the west is developed with a small retail center. Properties to the south across Franklin Road are developed with the Willow Park Apartments and a single-family house fronting on Matrot. Properties to the east are developed with a gas station and small commercial center. Site contains 1.39 acres of land with 152.56 feet of frontage on Northwestern Highway and a depth of 219.11 to 239.86 feet. Special use request is for a standalone restaurant in the B3 General Business Zoning District. Submitted site plan indicates the demolition of a portion of the existing office building and construct a new 2,594 gross square foot Dunkin' Donuts with drive-through. The exterior of the building will be a mix of brick, stone, ephes, and glass. Parking required is 46 spaces and provided is 75 spaces. Landscaping provided exceeds the amount required. Issues considered by the Planning Department due to the review of the special use and site plan were the standards and conditions of Article 18, General Business, as it relates to the special use and site plan review request. This proposal is in accordance with the Southfield Comprehensive Master Plan, noting regional mixed use for this parcel. The petitioner is to implement the recommendations made by the Southfield Police Department's Crime Prevention Bureau regarding site security. Staff has no other comments at this time. We will read our recommendation to the council at the conclusion of the public hearing. If I may, Mr. Shango is also here, the petitioner for this project, to answer any questions the council may have.
Okay, if you would step to the microphone and state your name and business address for the record.
Good evening, Nick Shango, 28777 Northwestern Highway.
Do you have anything to add to the presentation?
Not really. I'm just here to answer questions, any concerns.
Okay, if you would take a seat. This is a public hearing, and if anyone would like to speak at the public hearing, please come to the microphone. And I should remind you again that once you step to the microphone, the time begins for 3 minutes. State your name and address for the record.
Pamela Gerald, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan, 48037-0155. My telephone number is 248-346-0439. I just have a couple of concerns. Is it enough room in that particular area to make an accessible or wide enough drive-through, like if a person with a van or a truck were to try to come through there, say a U-Haul truck? My second concern, it's not too far from a residential neighborhood in terms of the volume of the speaker. And then the other concern is what made you do it now. Thank you.
Has the planning department taken into consideration the turning radius of the drive?
Yes, we do. We always look at that, and we do have a traffic engineer who also reviews every single plan to make sure that there's enough turning radius for vehicles to get around the site. This particular location does have the drive-through itself, but also has an escape lane, so we're confident there is enough room to get a vehicle around, including a truck.
Okay, and also the speaker volume, was that taken into consideration?
Speaker volume is something that we do take into consideration. While there is residential nearby, it's on the other side of Franklin Road. The speaker itself would be actually facing the existing strip center that's directly to the west, and we did not believe that there would be any issues with sound from the speaker.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak at the public hearing? Seeing no other persons, the public hearing is closed. Council, comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. whatever your name is.
Yeah.
I keep calling you Frazier.
So does the mayor.
Mr.
As
Fracassi.
they introduced me at the State of the City as Myron, I thought you were going to stand up.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm very familiar with the area, and I explained to the planner and Jeff when I was when the site plan committee met. I did vote against this as part of the other two voted for this. But I thought that we would look at Franklin Road and see if we could do something to enhance it. It's kind of a hodgepodge. In other words, when you go northwest on Beach Road, first you got the Courtyard office building, then you have the Franklin office building, then you have an office building that's vacant adjacent to the Franklin and a and a liquor store that has all Lexus parking. In other words, it's the dealer parking all his cars. There's no, the building's closed up, I guess, and there's just storage. And every space has got a brand-new Lexus on it. And I thought that we would find out what is going on there. I don't know if we got a report back or not on
We do
that.
not have a report back on that yet, no.
And the other comment I had is that in a mixed use, this is really a tough thing as far as I'm concerned, because I think it should have just been a restaurant drive-through and not be cut in half with the office building. It seems like there's tenants that do reside in the office building, and they are going to be relocated into this small little triangular piece. But when you look at it to the, again, northwest, there's a brick wall that goes all the way to the sidewalk at the north side of this development. And there's this small little corner where they have a sign, Highland Building. Out in front of that, the wall, there's where the existing Dunkin' Donuts sign is, and it's quite large. It actually hides the entire property. I've got pictures here if you like. And also, there's a highway sign that designates Franklin Road on the city or county right of way. Is it county right of way?
Probably would be state right away.
State right away. There's a sign that would also be in conflict with signage that would be a ground sign in front of the requested restaurant. And I guess, you look at that area, there's the gas station that was up there, really poorly landscaped and in bad shape, and that sits all the way to Franklin Road. It's really funny, you turn to your left and you go to 12 Mile Road, and you go the other, turn right, and then you go on to Franklin Road that goes on to 12 Mile Road. It goes across Northwestern. And I just, and it also has a straight run through. If you're on Franklin Road and you want to get back to Northwestern, you could go right straight through this parking lot and get out onto Northwestern. And I asked if the office building could be segregated from the commercial and have a facing to Franklin Road, and then have the landscaping and access out to Franklin Road, and not allow traffic to go directly all the way through. If you look to the south of this one, where the Lexus cars are, a lot of people have drops to stop people from going through.
Oh.
And there's one that's got twins, and another one's got that, and there's even graffiti on the bricks of the one that has the Lexus cars on it. There's graffiti on the white bricks, purple writing, and I just think that signage would be a problem. Traffic out and in of that would be difficult, and I think that we start doing these mixed uses, but when you try to take a piece of property that was meant for an office building and try to make something out of what they say, an orange or an apple or something, if it should be either or a definitive line between the two, so you don't get traffic going all the way straight through, and the restaurant operated independently of the office, and have the parking for the office building on Franklin Road. It's really odd, you have a two-car garage all the way to the south end of this. If you look at the plan, there's a garage, two-door garage all the way at the end, and it's hidden behind the gas station. And all along the row between the gas station and the parking lot are all high weeds. And I don't know what the landscaping plan would be, but that, right now there's a Dunkin' Donuts sign there that's there, and you can't see anything beyond that. If that's removed, you still will have a problem because of the sign on the right-of-way, and then the sign on that little triangle that's left, because there's a wall that goes all the way out to the sidewalk. And if you go down Northwestern, you'll see a wall before you see a sign. Either that, but you can't take the wall out because there's parking against the wall on the neighbors. So it's a difficult project, but I still think that to do it properly, there has to be a definitive difference between the office building and the restaurant. If you go south towards Beach Road, there are office buildings that do go out to Franklin Road and do exist. And I just think that this is kind of a hodgepodge myself. If you follow that number 1 around the circle there, he's going back out into Northwestern Highway, but you've got action. You're going to have traffic coming straight through. You got them moving out, and you got people in the restaurant coming in. I mean, it's going to, I think it should stand by its own. That's my opinion.
Okay.
And I've got pictures if anybody wants to see them.
Anyone else? Mr. Mandelbaum.
Yes, I'm glad there was a traffic study done because I had some concerns about the traffic coming from Northwestern and making almost a U-turn into the parking lot for the drive-through. So I'm glad that was done, that they don't see a problem. However, it looks like if there's an escape lane for the drive-through and there's a loading zone right next to it, is that going to cause any problems of having deliveries or trucks for the other building blocking that escape lane?
Yeah, if I may, Mr. Shango, if you could explain how the loading zone and when that would be operating?
Sure. So our prime time is, as you know, morning. So 7 to 9. Loading comes late at night when the office is not in, it's not being occupied. The office building after 5 p.m. Our trucks come once a week for loading, and our donuts come daily at midnight between 12 and 3 a.m. So there won't be traffic at that time. There won't be any.
Okay. And then the next question I have is regards to the parking in front of the building. Will those be specifically reserved for the Dunkin' Donuts, or will the office building be using those spots and people have to walk much further to get to the restaurant?
Well, it'll be for Dunkin' Donuts. The office building, they'll take whatever's closest to them, and kind of, For now, yes. The way that I look at it, I haven't experienced it yet. I'm the operator, so yes, I want to make those for Dunkin' Donuts. We'll leave the office adjacent. It's a shorter walk.
Okay. The last question I had, just out of curiosity, has there been any thought since you're creating a brand-new Dunkin' Donuts of making it kosher?
Yeah, I own 7 stores, so I have to go through a process to get that done. There is one on Greenfield.
10 Mile, correct?
10 Mile, yes.
It's the only one in Michigan.
Yeah.
The one that you're building, the old location or your current location used to be kosher as well.
Back when they fried donuts, yeah. We don't make the donuts anymore. We get them shipped on a daily basis. Yeah, I have been looking into that. This is a good location for it. I'm centrally located. My other stores are in Warren, Sterling Heights. But yeah, I have asked about that. I have to go through a particular process because everything, it has to be blessed. It has to be kosher. So yeah, it's interesting because he's really busy. He's a busy spot, and there's one across the street from that too. There's two Dunkin' Donuts across the street from each other. It's the one next to the gas station.
I'm there frequently. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Brightwell.
I sit on the site plan committee, and I recall discussing this, and we discussed the traffic flows and spent a lot of time on the vegetation. And we feel that, well, at least the day that we were there, I felt that this was a good repurposing of that particular building. And I understand that the current tenants, they have no objections to, obviously to the Dunkin' Donut being there. And I think well, anyway, I just put my state that I felt favorable for this particular item during the site plan, basically primarily for the efficiency that's displayed and also the repurposing of this particular building, adding a new piece of property in the city of Southfield.
Any other, Mr. Cruz?
Just one other question. Do you have any plans for what will be the vacant Dunkin' Donuts if this were to move forward?
I don't own that building. I just leased the space, and I tried to work beforehand. And as you know, businesses nowadays, you need drive-through, and it's been due for a long time. And Tim Hortons grew, and about half the Dunkin' stores in Michigan, we were about 55 stores. Half of them were non-drive-through. So for me, as a business owner, I was suffering the last 3-4 years. So this is a big blessing, and I promise to make it a home run. We did an extensive traffic study. I paid a lot of money, got a lot of opinions. You'll never have more than an 8-car. According to my traffic study, 8 cars. It won't go past 8 cars in the drive-thru. I can't personally. I get people out of there in 2 minutes. So we have a 20-foot driveway, so that's enough for a bypass. We studied it left and right, and trust me, I don't want it to be congested. I lose business, then I lose traffic. So I have the same concerns you guys do, and I've been operating. This is my 7th year. I got 7 stores. I have some ice cream stores with them, so I get your concerns, and I want you to know I've done my homework. MDOT approved the concept that we presented, and we got a traffic study, and the traffic study was a approved MDOT vendor, so they do work for MDOT, and then the next step is landscape. We're going to make this thing look good. I'll sit down with Jeff. We'll get the right landscape going, and we'll get some landscape behind the fence we're going to do facing Franklin. We're going to redo that thing, get some nice piers and some fencing in between. So
I think it'd be a good addition on that northwestern corridor going down there. So
thank you.
I'm in support of it as well.
Will there be another business that shares your parking area?
No. It's just the office building. I own the property, so it's just the office and the Dunkin' Donuts. There's no other.
But people will be parking cars that are going into the office building.
Correct, yeah, but they'll be in that longer part, in the L part.
Yeah, the reason I say that is you were saying, yeah, I wanted to preserve these for Dunkin' Donuts.
Sure.
Just saying that doesn't make it happen. You have to get a traffic order, if I'm correct. You have to get a traffic order through the city that reserves those, so it's an official sign. You can't just nail a sign up and say, don't park here.
If I may, through the chair, actually, the property owner does have the ability to
Well,
sign.
you better talk to the attorney.
Well,
The traffic control order would be for the handicap and the fire lanes.
Okay.
So he can designate in front of the restaurant that these are for the restaurant only.
Okay.
That's why I was saying, I'm not sure how many yet.
Yeah.
If it's, it's gonna be busy, then I'll dedicate more. If, I gotta visually, I gotta look at it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair? Do you have tenants for the office building?
I do, I have two in there
And
right
what
now.
are their businesses?
There's a CPA and the other lady, she's does mortgage real estate.
Okay.
They've been in there since, for quite some time. I got a lot of vacancies, to about 13,000 square feet. So it's easy to relocate them when I'm doing what I have to do. But
Okay.
just take me a couple of months and everybody will be happy.
Okay, and when you made your presentation, you said you had some comments to make it.
I just wanted to note for the record that the planner's recommendation for the resolution to council for GP 1289, SP 1334 is to approve subject to the conditions that are in the resolution.
Okay, so you're suggesting we approve both?
I would recommend doing them both. Yeah, if you could do the site plan or the special use first and then the site plan second, yes.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Mandelbaum?
I'd like to move that we approve GP 1289.
Support.
It's been moved by Mr. Mandelbaum, supported by Mr. Cruz, that we approve GP 1289. It's a special use for the Nicholas Shango Northwestern LLC Dunkin' Donuts. Is there any discussion? Are we prepared to vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Let the record show there were 6 yeas, 1 nay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move that we approve SP 1334.
Support.
It's been moved by Mr. Mandelbaum, supported by Ms. Morris, that we approve SP 1334. Is there any discussion? Are we prepared to vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
no.
Let the record show that there was 6 yeas, 1 nay. We do have a second public hearing.
Yes, you
Mr.
do.
Spence?
Yep. So you're.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next public hearing is for GP 1291, SP 1337. This is a special use and site plan review request of Versa Development to demolish the existing restaurant on site, construct a new Starbucks coffee shop with drive-through. Restaurant was originally known as the Excalibur and most recently the Mint Lounge, and has been vacant for some time. Site, along with the banquet facility in the back and the Zodiac office building to the east, are all under a shared parking agreement that will remain in place with the construction of the new coffee shop, should council approve it. Outside dining has been provided, as well as proper pedestrian connections and landscaping. I do have a short video for you at this time. GP 1291, SP 1337 is a special use and site plan review request of Nicole Jeffries, Versa Development, to demolish a vacant restaurant building and construct a new 2,200 gross square foot standalone coffee shop with drive-through to be located at 28877 Franklin Road in Section 18 of the city. The subject property, as well as the properties to the north across Northwestern Highway, to the west, south, and east are zoned B3 general business. With regard to the existing land uses, the current property is developed with a vacant restaurant. Property to the north across Northwestern Highway is developed with a Walgreens pharmacy. Property to the west is developed with a Family Dollar store. Property to the south is developed with a banquet facility. Property to the east is developed with an office building. The site contains 0.9 acres of land. There is 132 feet of frontage on Franklin Road and a depth of 297 feet. The special use request is for a standalone restaurant use within the B3 General Business Zoning District. The submitted site plan indicates the demolition of the existing vacant restaurant and construction of a new 2,200 gross square foot standalone coffee shop with drive-through. The elevations show a mix of decorative brick, lap siding, metal awning, and glass. Parking required is 20 spaces and provided is 54 spaces that are to be shared with a banquet facility to the south. A cross-access and parking agreement already exists for the restaurant, banquet facility, and the office building to the east. Parking required for all the uses is 118 spaces, with 126 spaces provided. Therefore, there is enough parking provided for all uses. The landscaping provided exceeds the amount required. Issues considered by the Planning Department during their review of the special use and site plan were the special use and site plan review standards of the zoning ordinance, petitioners to implement the recommendations made by the Southfield Police Department's Crime Prevention Bureau regarding site security. The proposal is in accordance with the Southfield Comprehensive Master Plan, noting regional mixed use for this parcel. When we were originally going through the process on this, there were questions a couple of times as to whether the banquet facility will remain, which it will. So the only building that will be removed from the property, at least proposed-wise, is the old restaurant site. Staff has no other comments at this time. The petitioner, Nikki Jeffries with Versa Development, is here this evening to answer any questions the council may have.
If you give your name and business address for the record, please.
Yes, I'm Nikki Jeffries. I'm with Versa Development. We're located here in Southfield, 25900 West 11 Mile. We've been working on this project here for about 8 months now. We're excited about it. We own numerous other projects and developments within the township, including that Henry Ford Optimize that was built last year and the office building on Telegraph, Comerica Tower. I'm just here to answer any questions you guys may have about this new coffee shop project.
Okay, if you take a seat. This is a public hearing, and I'll declare the public hearing open. Anyone that would speak on the public hearing, come to the microphone, and you have up to 3 minutes.
Pamela Gerald, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan, 48037-0155. My telephone number is 248-346-0439. I really don't have too much to say about the project. I trust the development's decision to do with that property, and just wanted to compliment them on the terrific job that they did for Henry Ford Optimize. That is a beautiful business location, stocked with great inventory, and you guys are awesome. Great project. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak on this issue? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Council.
Mr. Chairman, also move the presentation.
It's been moved by Mr. Fracassi, supported by Ms. Seymour, that we approve.
This,
Yes.
1291.
Yeah, GP 1291. Any discussion? A question. I have a question. That was a troubled building.
Right.
Did it go into receivership, or did it go?
No, we're buying the building from the owner right now is the same owner that owns the banquet facility behind it. It's already split off. There's a separate parcel, but the same owner owns both buildings right now.
Okay. And assuming that this passes, what hours of operation would your
Our tenant would be looking at somewhere between 5 and 5:30 in the morning till about 9 at night.
okay? All right.
If I may, through the chair, I
Yes.
just want to let you guys know that the planning department does recommend favorable consideration for this item. I just want to make sure we got that on the record.
Oh, because before you said the planning department has no more comments. I took you at your word. All right. Are we prepared to vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried. We have the site plan.
President, I move that we approve site plan 1337. Support.
It has been moved by Mr. Cruz, supported by Mr. Brightwell, that we approve site plan number 1337. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good luck. Now we move into communications, and we have a number of people that would like to speak. Keep in mind that the clock starts when you walk to the microphone, and after 3 minutes, the microphone will be shut off. Ms. Gerald.
Pamela Gerald, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan, 48037-0155. My telephone number is 248-346-0439. I came to the State of the City address today by the current mayor, Mayor Kenson Cyber, and out of the entire presentation, I was happy to hear that there was talk to try and come to some sort of contract resolution with the unions here. But one thing that you guys missed, when you showed the members of the team, you forgot to put the employees there, because the employees are members of the team, not just the city planner, the mayor, the council, and all of the positions that were named. I'm getting a little annoyed to always hear how important the employees are and how they're not trying to negotiate. And I just want you, Fred, to stop with all the fluff. Give us some facts. When you say that the employees are not doing what they should be doing in terms of negotiating, I don't know that I believe you. And I don't believe you because...
Would you talk to me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure.
I don't believe the city administrator with what he says, so that we can eliminate you saying one thing and when the employees come up here, them saying another thing. If what you're saying is not fluff and it's fact, why don't you open up the negotiations and let the public hear? I would challenge you to do that.
Speak to me.
We could get the real deal. The other thing is, I've been looking at some other cities and the kinds of raises that they're giving their employees. They're giving them 5%, but they're doing 5-year contracts or 3-year contracts, like Oakland County. Detroit does 5 years. They're doing 2.5%, 1.5%, and a 1% raise. I don't know what you're talking about in there, but I think the public has a right to know too. The public stood with the city as it related to the drilling, and we said that we supported you. Let's stand with the employees now. Let's get this contract resolved, because this visioning session really means nothing until you resolve the contract. You can't get on with new business until you clean up the old business. And I'm going to keep saying that. Stop with the fluff, Fred Zorn, and give us some real facts.
Talk to me.
If he could stop with the fluffing. I would appreciate it.
Thank you. The next The next item, or next person is Gerard Mullen.
Gerard Mullen, Post Office Box 155, Southfield, Michigan 48037. Mr. Chairman, Ronald Reagan once said that the 11 most feared words in the English language are, "We are from the government, and we are here to help." That is what happened in the city of Flint, and the same thing is happening right now here in this city, our city, the city of Southfield. Governor Snyder and his friends at the MDEQ, the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality, are not satisfied with having poisoned Flint's tap water. Now they're about to poison Flint's bottled water as well. You may ask, how is this possible? Well, it is a little-known fact that much of Flint's bottled water comes from the groundwater right here in Southfield, and that the MDEQ, the gang that can't shoot straight, gave approval on March the 8th, 2016, for a permit to allow the Jordan Development Company the right to drill and operate a 2,900-foot deep oil and gas well on residentially zoned land in the middle of this city, our city, the city of Southfield. To be precise, the Word of Faith property at the northwest corner at Evergreen and 9 Mile Road, just a mile and a half from where I'm standing right now, here in City Hall. It should be noted that contributory branches of the Rouge River run through and under the city of Southfield, and that many residents get their drinking water from well water here in Southfield. This is not good news for those of us who drink well water and or bottled water here in our city, the city of Southfield. Thank you.
The next person is on the list is Fred Bunker. I don't see Fred Bunker here. Anthony Eccles. Charlie Gillum.
Good evening. I'm Charlie Gillum, Precinct Delegate 18 of Southfield. Thank you, City of Southfield, City Council, for believing in freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Other cities around this country, they just tell you right on a piece of note and they decide whether they read it out or not. But I thank you for letting us have our say. I have a safety issue for both sides of the oil drilling. If it's so safe, the company that's doing the drilling, I believe they should post a $10 billion insurance bond since they say nothing is safe, nothing will happen. Over 100 years ago, the Titanic went down, and on that boat, the CEO of the Titanic was on board that night. The very one that said that the boat is unsinkable said, we don't need all these lifeboats. The very one that wanted to save some money on the Titanic, he said that instead of putting steel rivets along the side, put iron so we can save some money. Well, when the boat started to sink, women and children first. From what I understand, the CEO got off that boat by dressing in women's clothes, him and his lawyers, and got on that boat, and they survived. The very ones that said it won't sink. In the heart of California, the community, they were drilling for oil. Methane gas came up, and I don't think them people, all them back in their houses yet. That's California. In West Lake, Ohio, around March 10th, they said it was safe. They hit Pope Vane, construction right in the heart of the city. So much glass shattered, car window busted. But thank you, I don't think nobody was killed. Highland Park, right here, 1st of February. Fire smoke, you can see it from here. That's 5 to 7 miles away, you can see it. Now, what I was getting at, I'm running out of time. It's good you got the clock here. They want to put drilling right in those people's backyard. They don't know nothing. Smoke kills you. If explosion hits that down there, those people sitting there in Bible study, no way in the world they can get out there. Glass flying, little kids sitting there in the church. Well, at least if they want to do that, at least make them compensate the whole community by posting a bond. That's on both sides of 9 Mile, number 4 trees all along there. If that fire hit, the smoke alone kill everybody down there, suffocate them. Fires alone don't kill people. It's a smoke and suffocated. They don't understand what they're walking to. But I just, if this guy says so safe that want to drill, put up the money. Thank you.
Okay. The next, Sheila Gaddy.
She's not.
Sally Price. Pardon me? Okay. Corey Roten.
Hello and good evening. My name is Corey Roughton. I'm a City of Southfield employee and I'm also the TPOM union president. Keep coming back meeting after meeting to discuss the same issues of employee raises and the retiree health care that concern us, to no avail. Our unions have been negotiating in good faith in several meetings and given considerably on most items, whereas the city itself has been giving little during these meetings. Now, after a number of negotiations, the city itself has been offering even less than the very first meeting that we had a number of months ago, despite union offers of tens of thousands of dollars to be given back. Our city administrator and mayor both have recently stated that our unions have been offered raises, but it's curious why they've purposely failed to mention how much. Why would that be? Why? Because of how embarrassing it would be to the city leadership, as well as how insulting it was to the city unions and those members as well. To give you an example, a one-time 1% raise was offered to the employees, which is equal to 24 cents an hour or less than $10 a week for an employee that has already gone for 9 years without a raise. That would be 12 years with a 3-year contract for 24 cents. A yearly raise of 1% is a total less than just the one monthly payment that you give to Mr. Zorn for his car allowance. That's despicable. If you take all 100 TPOM union members put together with this 1% raise, it would still be 20% less than the raise of just 2 key people that you gave raises to. That's pretty sad. And at the same time, the city's been spending several millions of your taxpayer dollars to go around buying properties throughout the city of Southfield, as well as several other very questionable items paid for by the taxpayers' dollars. It's something to think about. All of the city has been telling the employees that we have no money. And then a recent newsletter that was brought out said, the employees are the city's most valuable asset and needs to be invested in. Isn't that interesting? And then at the same time, city leaders tell the taxpayers, we need more of your taxpayer dollars to take care of all these different things that we want to do. But once again, the common theme is, we have no money. What they mean is we have no money for just certain things. In conclusion, as far as the union is concerned, we are going to continue to fight for change for the employees, for the taxpayers, who are truly the most valuable asset to this city, until positive and real change takes place in this city for the betterment of everybody. Thank you and good evening.
The next person is Chris Campbell.
All right, good evening, esteemed elected legislative and administrative body of Southfield. My name is Chris Campbell, a member of the TPOM Executive Board. I'd like to first start off today by commending the mayor on a nice State of the City address. The PowerPoint presentation illustrated the great strides that were made to strike an optimistic tone regarding a flurry of activity happening in the city. So kudos to you, Mr. Mayor. The visioning sessions are intriguing, and I'd like to commend the city administrator for attempting to address some of the concerns that we've talked about over the past few months and as they relate to communication, internal workplace structure, and organization. So kudos to you, Mr. Administrator. Now, when we come here to speak before council, none of this is personal, so we hope that none of this is taken as such. All we're trying to do is basically advocate for good city services and employee issues and concerns being a focus. Now, during the mayor's speech, he discussed business redevelopment as being a top priority, and through a myriad and a vast array of slides and transitions and various pictorial illustrations, talked about the planned strategies, monies, matching funding programs dedicated to area redevelopment, such as Northland, the parcel across the street, and various other sites. Now, since speaking before council on numerous occasions, some have wondered, what is it that employees want? Well,
Make sure you talk to me.
Oh.
Make sure you talk to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it that employees want? In short, we want to be treated like a redevelopment project. The mayor mentioned about going on the offensive being the only option when it came to addressing Northland, and it was imperative for the city to adopt an aggressive strategy to prevent the property from falling into the wrong hands. And so we as employees want that kind of focus. Treat us like a redevelopment project. It's clear that the employees fall on the low end of the totem pole in terms of priority for the city, despite a sentence in the latest newsletter stating that we recognize that our employees are our most valuable asset. From our perspective, this reads as something of a propaganda piece and is empty rhetoric when we're considering what the numbers are. And what the numbers are is this. The average salary of a city worker is $50,000 per year. Now let's say a hypothetical situation, the city offers us a 1% raise, which equates to $500 non-pensionable. Now $500 divided into 26 weeks is $19.23 before taxes per pay period. This $19 translates to 24 cents per hour. Multiply that by 8, that's $1.92 per day. Of 100 union members, if you multiply that 500, it comes out to $50,000 over a 1% raise. Now let's take a couple key positions. A $30,000 raise for someone, which translates to a 50% increase. A $30,000 raise for another manager, which translates to a 40% increase. Our question is,
your time's up. Your time is up. The next person is Keith Rosen. Okay, let's move into the council portion of our agenda. I have 3 requests for...
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move to approve the travel expense reports for Councilman Daniel Brightwell, item A for Councilman
Well,
Daniel.
let's do it one at a time.
Okay, I got you.
Maybe
We'll start with
somebody-
item A. I got you.
It's been moved by Mr. Cruz, supported by Mr. Fracassi, that we approve the expense for the travel for Daniel Brightwell. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried.
Mr. President, I also move that we approve the travel expense report for Councilman Donald Fracassi.
Support.
It has been moved by Mr. Cruz, supported by Mr. Mandelbaum, that we approve the travel expense report for Mr. Donald Fracassi. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show that there were 6 yeas, 1 abstention.
I also like to, Mr. President, if I could, move that we approve item C, the travel expense report for Councilwoman Tanya Morris.
Support. It's been moved by Mr. Cruz, supported by Mr. Brightwell. They approve the travel expense report for Ms. Tanya Morris. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
It is, let the record show that there were 6 yeas and 1 abstention. Is there anything else that the council would like to bring this evening?
Yes.
Mr. Mandelbaum.
Yes, I just wanted to, at our last meeting, we had a presentation by our county treasurer, Andy Meisner, and who talked about delinquent property taxes. And tomorrow, our Human Services Department is having a delinquent property tax seminar from 1 to 3 in the Parks and Rec building. March 31st is the deadline to pay any delinquent property tax, and we would like you to stay in your home. So if you need help for paying for property taxes from the years 2013 and prior, please attend the seminar tomorrow between 1 and 3 in our Parks and Rec building. Also, as spring brings new flowers and other vegetation, it also shows more of some of our crumbling roads. And the city has the pothole hotline at 796-4000, and they have they try to get to every pothole within 48 hours, and so far, I've only heard good things about people who have called the hotline. So if you do see a pothole on a city street, please call the number. Otherwise, the county streets, you need to contact Oakland County. And we do have a map on our website that tells you which streets are city and which streets are county. So thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Is there anyone else?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Fracassi.
Somebody asked me a question today, but I didn't have my Living magazine. But when does yard waste start being picked up? I see a lot of it around.
I believe April 1st. I can check that and have that posted in the scroll of the video as it replays, but I'm pretty sure it's April 1st.
Anything else? Okay, next item on our agenda is Mayor.
Good evening.
Good
Today I
evening.
had the pleasure of delivering the State of the City address, sponsored by the Southfield Chamber of Commerce. It was a luncheon held at the Westin Hotel, and with, I think, roughly 250 people in attendance. I realized that a noon luncheon at the hotel is not accessible to everyone who might want to hear the State of the City address. So I'd like to announce that at 7 p.m. on March 31st, in this room, we will repeat the State of the City address for anyone who would like to come and view the PowerPoint as well as hear the presentation. The State of the City address will also be broadcast over on City Cable 15 in the days ahead. Secondly, I'd like to mention that during our last summer and fall's campaign for office in Southfield, the candidates heard two major concerns over and over again from our residents as well as at forums, and those were roads, which we are well on our way to addressing. For the second year, we'll have more road construction in Southfield than any other community in Oakland County. This year it'll be well over $40 million in roads, sewer, sidewalk, and water lines being replaced or improved in the city. The second most common concern was that on code enforcement. We had a lot of people who commented and are concerned about how our code department operates, the procedures, and how we go about enforcing our codes. So to start the dialogue rolling on that, as well as to inform people, we will hold and it's a council and mayor's event. We will hold a community dialogue in this room on April 14th. That's at 7 o'clock on Thursday, April 14th. There'll be a presentation by our code department and explanation of city codes, and then we will have breakout groups following in the Southfield Pavilion. We're asking Charlie Fleetum to moderate this session for us. And I would also like to make note that on April 16th, there will be a community volunteer day from 8 a.m. That's a Saturday, from 8 a.m. To noon. And two locations that have been chosen are the Stevenson School on Lasher Road at 11.5 mile and Adler Elementary School on Fillmore Street at Santa Barbara. And just in a quick response to Mr. Roten, it would be considered an unfair labor practice if I were to get into specifics of anything that is on the negotiations table. So I cannot and will not discuss specifics. In general, I would discuss that a raise has been offered, as I mentioned in the State of the City address. I think I speak for, besides myself, I think I speak for all of the council when I say we are desirous of settling these contracts. It is time, and we are working towards that end. That concludes my comments.
Okay. Next item is administration.
Mr. President, as we just spoke earlier in our committee of the whole, I'm requesting council to act on retaining OHM by adopting the resolution incorporated within the write-up you have tonight for the land development consulting services at Northland site. You know, the Northland project is one of the city's top goals in redevelopment. I know there's often confusion relative to the acquisition and such, but we have committed $5.4 million in the acquisition, carry costs, reactivating the police department, installing fence, a few other things. And we've also, those monies have come from our tax base initiative fund. That money is aimed at growing this city's tax base to make sure that we can fulfill the obligations we have in the future. In addition, we had within our local improvement loan program, that is the source we've identified for demolition. The action that I'm requesting tonight is to retain a group of planning experts, architects, environmental, legal, branding experts to take the community through a process as to what it is we'd like to see on this site and how we can best position ourselves to optimize the tax yield per acre on this site. The process was facilitated through the city's planning department. We had 8 firms respond, and I'm asking council to authorize retaining OHM and the project team identified in the write-up for an amount not to exceed $300,000. Specifically, the base contract amount with OHM is for $255,200.
Okay, you've heard the city administrator and his explanation of what he wishes.
I move that we authorize contract with OHM.
Support.
It's been moved by Mr. Brightwell, supported by Ms. Seymour, that we approve the contract as presented by our city administrator, not to exceed $300,000. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Fracassi.
with all respect to OHM, I'm sure that they're a great company. I respect the jobs that they would do. And to administration, I'm going to abstain from voting due to the lack of information.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Are we prepared to vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
It is carried. Let the record show that there were 6 yeas, 1 abstention. The next item on our agenda. Yes.
Mr. President,
you have anything else?
If I may,
Yes, I'm
as
sorry.
administrator, I just feel compelled to respond to some of the comments this evening. Clearly, one of the goals City Council identified in its December 4th visioning session was leveraging our employees' strengths and putting them in a stronger position to perform for our taxpayers. You know, to date, we've re-implemented a city newsletter, which stopped to exist somewhere, I believe, around 2011. I've implemented a monthly meeting luncheon with the city administrator. We're preparing to have Plant Moran come to do a financial training session for our employees. A lot of discussion. I think it needs to be noted, and the mayor touched on this very well in his State of the City address, that we lost over 200 employees. The last year, we've been trying to figure out how to right-size this ship. In a lot of ways, our strategy to get through the financial crisis was people exiting the organization through attrition. In some ways, we're like a baseball team that has, maybe too many outfielders when we need a shortstop. So as we go through the exercise that we've done the last year in the budget, we've been slowly trying to bring back certain departments, make sure that we can live within our financial constraints. This entire conversation is about living within our financial means. The challenge for the city is, in essence, our legacy costs, our OPEB costs, or other post-employee benefits. The fact of the matter is, we have a $187 million liability hanging over this city. We're not alone. A lot of first-ring suburban communities are in the same position. As we go through the process of collective bargaining, we're trying to find the right balance. We have offered raises, and I just want to walk you through a few things. The city obviously respects the important contributions of our employees, but I need to clarify some issues that have been made relative to compensation. The average gross income of an employee in the TPOM unit was $53,500 in 2015. Moreover, employees in that bargaining unit receive an exceptional benefit package, including health insurance, both active employee and retiree, dental insurance, optical insurance, $50,000 life insurance, tuition reimbursement, and a defined benefit pension. These benefits come at a substantial cost to the city. For TPOM, employee making $53,500 per year, the city had to pay an additional $42,831 in benefit costs, not including the value of paid time off, which pushes the total compensation cost above $96,000. The employee pays less than $6,100 for these benefits. Despite these high employment costs, the city has offered compensation improvements in negotiations, i.e. we have offered raises, and beyond the 1%. As the mayor has indicated, it would be a violation of the collective bargaining rules that we work within the state of Michigan to get into the finer details. We continue to bargain in good faith with the remaining unions who have not settled their labor contracts. And some of them have active contracts and have been settled. I believe the number is 3 of the 9 have settled contracts. But we must do so within the parameters allowed within the financial conditions, and we need to address the huge liabilities impassed by these legacy costs. So again, let me repeat the legacy cost, $187 million. And kind of how that breaks down to. I have indicated, we have, in essence, 2 parts of the city that still have what I would refer to as a structural deficit: the library and parks and recreation. The library, in order to sustain itself after refinancing the library, each year is taking about $100,000 out of the bank. Obviously, any increases in compensation further exasperate that situation. If we were to fully start funding these OPEB liabilities or these post-employee benefits, and I'm not talking about pension. This is primarily in retiree health care. Our pension costs sit in another account, and we're in good shape there. Would mean that the library deficit would have to increase by another $800,000 per year. The ARC, or the annual required contribution for the SERS group, is 67 cents for every dollar of payroll, 67.12 cents for every dollar of payroll. For Parks and Rec, which has a deficit in excess of $400,000 on a payroll of $752,000 per year, that deficit would now increase to just under $1 million. I want to be clear that both the library and Parks and Rec have beat their budgets the last few years. So the message here is this is a very delicate balance. We cannot keep kicking this liability down the can. In the next few months, the state of Michigan, when you speak with the governor's director of strategic policy, will be having a very intense conversation about OPEB liabilities. This is something that we can't ignore. Under GASB accounting rules 43 and 45, our future audits will reflect the actual impact of these liabilities. Right now, it's just noted as a footnote. It does not show up in the balance sheet. This $187 million liability will further exacerbate that. We are about to embark on a campaign to better educate our employees as well as the citizens regarding this matter. And I really would like people to keep in context of the Northland transaction. If Northland is right, and when we do Northland right, it could produce as much as another $6 million a year in just taxes. And when we do Northland right, there are other residual incomes that can come back to the city. And that's the action you approved earlier. And the RFQ that we went through in selecting these land developers looks at electrical resale distribution. What can we do in other areas? Stormwater management. How can we bring in other residual monies to the city? So we're going to stay at the table. But I to the point on this, that the $187 million needs to be daylighted. We can't deal with the unknown and what we're not going to speak about. But the fact is, anything you deal with, an elephant's a bite at a time. Sitting down together, dialoguing, we can resolve these issues. I can't be any more clear that, I obviously value the employees. This organization is nothing without our employees. But it's our taxpayers who are at the top, and we've got to keep that balance between the burden that our taxpayers are being asked to bear and the versus what our employees' needs are. So we'll continue to work for the right balance. We're going to stay engaged at the collective bargaining table until we get resolution. Thank you.
Okay. The next item agenda is our attorney.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 3 lawsuits in front of the council this evening. Dawn Green versus the City of Southfield. The plaintiff in this case believes that a police officer incorrectly completed a police report, and that damaged her in her pursuit of a cause of action against the other driver, and she is seeking damages against the City of Southfield. I ask that you authorize us to represent the city and take any action necessary to defend the city.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Support.
It's been moved by Mr. Cruz, supported by Mr. Mandelbaum, that we authorize our city attorney to take whatever action is necessary to defend the city. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried. Next.
The second lawsuit is Willie Jones versus McCormick and et al., others. This was a high-speed chase. The plaintiff was subsequently arrested for armed robbery, weapons violations, was found guilty. He's now claiming false arrest, false imprisonment, etc., asking that the council authorize us to defend and take whatever action to further the city's interest in this matter.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved by Ms. Morris, supported by Mr. Mandelbaum, that we authorize our city attorney to take whatever action is necessary to defend the city in this matter. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried.
I just have a question on that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Wouldn't those issues be raised during the trial?
Well, obviously, you're talking 2 different types of action. One was the criminal trial that he was convicted of for the armed robbery and the weapons violations. Now what he's saying is that there were certain things, again, in his perspective, that were done improperly during his arrest and subsequent taking into custody, and he wants civil damages for those. So it doesn't preclude, one doesn't preclude the other, but I understand where you're coming from.
Mr. President, could I, and also on that same case, and I noticed most of them are against the city of Southfield.
Yeah.
Is McCormick, is that the officer?
Yeah, those are some, right, those are, if you see it in names, it'll
Okay.
be the employees. Right,
Okay.
correct. And then the last lawsuit is Dewan Thurman versus the City of Southfield. Again, this involved an investigation of an alleged criminal activity by the police department. A loaded handgun that was belonged to plaintiff was confiscated. Plaintiff again feels that his civil rights were violated and filed suit against the city and the police officers. So we're asking the city to authorize whatever action is necessary to defend the city and pursue the city's interest in this matter.
Have a motion? Have a motion?
So moved.
I'll make a motion that we support this issue.
I second.
It's been moved by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Brightwell, that we authorize the city attorney to take whatever action is necessary to defend the city. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried.
Thank you. And the last item I have is a proposed purchase agreement for the Target at Northland property. This matter has been discussed with council in the past. At this point, we have arrived at a mutually acceptable purchase price, and a purchase agreement is just about finalized. We're asking authorization for the mayor and clerk to sign that purchase agreement and for the city to acquire that property and pursue a closing in the matter.
Do I have a support?
Support.
It's been moved by Ms. Seymour, supported by Mr. Fracassi, that we authorize our city attorney to complete negotiations and then have the proper papers signed by the appropriate people. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried. Clerk, treasurer, anything? Okay. We have some ordinances to enact.
I move that we enact ordinance number 1657.
Support.
It's been moved by Mr. Mandelbaum that we enact ordinance number 1657, and it's supported by Mr. Cruz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried.
I move that we enact ordinance number 1658.
Support.
It's been moved by Mr. Mandelbaum, supported by Mr. Cruz, that we enact ordinance number 1658. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried.
I move that we enact ordinance number 1659.
Support.
It's been moved by Mr. Mandelbaum, supported by Mr. Cruz, that we enact ordinance number 1659. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I move that we enact ordinance number 1660.
Support.
It's been moved by Ms. Morris, supported by nearly everyone else, that we enact ordinance number 1660. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I move that we enact ordinance number 1661.
Support.
It's been moved by Ms. Morris, supported by Mr. Brightwell, that we enact ordinance number 1661. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried. Is there any other business to come before the council?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to just recognize Sue Ward and the amount of ordinances that the city's adopted in the last few months, a record amount. And I'd also like to just compliment the clerk's office for a well-ran primary election, outstanding turnout. And in my career, I've never seen a primary or an election with the numbers that we were hitting, and it was well executed.
Mr. Frazier?
We expect nothing less. We expect nothing less.
I'm wondering if I could add one more thing that I forgot to mention.
Sure.
This past week, we launched the Boy and the Boy and Bear campaign. It's called Free the Bear, and this is to raise $600,000 for the purchase of the Northland art. We purchased the art, but now we need to pay the loan back, and also $100,000, and that was $500,000 loan, and $100,000 for the placement of the art. The Boy and the Bear will be going into the library, and this actually now is a matching grant program, as we have secured the first $300,000 from the Miller Legacy Fund to kick this campaign off. So we are looking for donations. They may be sent to my office, addressed, check addressed to City of Southfield, and in the memo line, note that this is for the Free the Bear campaign. If you'd like further information, anyone can contact my office.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Fracassi.
Kenneth, I talked to Bob Townsend at your lunch today and asked him if he had maybe head up, a business consortium or send a letter out from the business community supporting our arts fundraising. And he said he'd like to talk about it, so maybe you could contact him. Do you know him?
Thank you very much. I'd be glad to do that.
Yeah, he's their external affairs person.
Okay.
Robert Townsend.
From Denso,
Yeah.
correct? I will follow up on that. Thank you for that tip.
Is there anything else? Madam Clerk?
Yes, if I could take you up on your offer and discuss the election. I would first of all like to thank everyone that came out and voted in the past election on March 8th. We had a record turnout in Southfield of 42%. The highest turnout we have ever had in the city of Southfield's history for a presidential preference primary was 21%. I am proud to say that we did not run out of ballots. I would like to thank the public for the wait time. We were not anticipating the large turnout, so we will staff our precincts a little bit differently come August and November. However, on a more positive note, I'd like to also thank all the election workers because we were certified in the city of Southfield Thursday by the Oakland County Elections Commission with 0 errors. So we did a great job, and I just want to thank everyone and all the workers and the people for a successful election.
Thank you. As I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, we expect nothing less, and we get nothing less. Seeing no more new business, the meeting is adjourned.
Rachel? Is there?